Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
YouTubers, coming to you from my basement. What do you want to talk about? What is going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we're here once again live for my live review of this past weekend's WWE pay-per-view premium live event, Bash in Berlin 2024. Took place this past Saturday, August 31st, 2024 at the Uber Arena out in Berlin, Germany. And as many of these overseas international shows WWE have done, they have been great success. May not be the best pay-per-views of all time. They've been good lately, though, but they've been a success as far as the crowds, and tickets were expensive this time to go this show, apparently. Apparently, this show was the highest gross income show, I believe it was, through WWE, as they broke a record with that. So that's awesome. And the crowd was once again loud and proud for this show. And going into it, my honest thoughts were, I thought it was going to be a great, glorified house show, is what my thoughts were. I didn't set my expectations high for this show. I thought it was going to be a fun show with some fun wrestling, and that's all it was going to be. I thought it was going to be one of those shows where I'm probably going to watch it one time. It's going to be fun, but I don't really have any need to watch it again. I still kind of feel that's how it ended up being, but I actually liked it a little bit more than I thought, and I thought so. I think we had a match of the year candidate, in my opinion. We had an excellent strap match, a very, very fun mixed tag. Even the women's tag title match wasn't that bad. And I thought it was a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. The main event, surprisingly, may have been the weakest match on the card, but it was still a good match. It wasn't quite as good as their King of the Ring match, but it was still good. Of course, the crowd took over most of that match, but overall, I cannot say this is a bad show. I thought it was a great show. Like I said, I gave it probably a higher than just like a satisfying grade. I felt like I gave this one a little bit more because, again, the crowd was into it. There was some of the... I felt like I got a little bit more out of the show than I thought I was going to get. So we're going to get into it. I know I also announced on the channel that there is a good chance this week I will be taking another break from Raw and SmackDown reviews this week. It's not definite, but it's looking very likely because I want to get caught up on a lot. Well, first off, again, I am very behind. I was busy all Labor Day. I have a lot of projects I'm working on right now, trying to get ready for my first child coming in a couple months. I spent this weekend painting the nursery. Well, I helped paint the nursery. It was my dad and my brother-in-law that did most of the work, as they had the tools. And we used like a spray gun to paint it. And of course, it was actually the old office that we were upstairs before, and that's now a nice blue color, very similar to my childhood bedroom where most of these streams used to take place at. This weekend, it is the crib that I'm going to be putting up. And, yeah, so between me trying to knuckle down on a nursery this month, and with me being behind on a lot of reviews, if you hear some noises, it's my dogs playing in the background. Yes, they're cute and adorable, but they're definitely being a little loud, but I'm going to give my wife a break from them for a bit. I just need to get caught up on some things. There's some things I've been wanting to do for a bit that I just haven't been able to get to. Some topic videos. Definitely get the Bad Blood match card done with as well this week. So, if I have time, I will squeeze in a Raw and SmackDown review. If not, then I'll just take another little break, because I just want to do a couple little new things. I don't want to quit the Raw and SmackDown reviews again like I did in 2021. But I just want to do a couple of other things, too, that I haven't been able to do for a couple weeks because I'm just busy. So, we're going to do all that. We'll see what we can do. I still am going to try to also record a review from NXT No Mercy, as I did watch that show. It wasn't bad. It wasn't as... I saw some things that kind of got me a little more interested in NXT, but of course, again, NXT's on Tuesday nights. Tuesday nights are my nights out. I don't have the time to really keep up on another show. There is going to be an AEW video coming out as well on another topic I want to discuss with AEW. And I will be doing also a separate video on Odyssey Jones. Yes, there was some shocking news this past week, earlier this week, about Odyssey Jones that seems becoming a little bit more clear. So I'm going to give my thoughts on that as well as some other content as well that I've been wanting to get to for a while. So we'll get to what we can, and we will go from there. I don't have anybody in the live chat right now. It's a little disappointing, but maybe some people will join me in a little bit. But yeah, we're going to roll in, and we're going to talk about the 5 matches that took place at Bash in Berlin. And we opened up with, truthfully, my favorite match of this show. And if I'm doing a top 10 match of the year candidate, I think this match may have made the list. And that's the opening match for the Undisputed title between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Look, I know Cody's matches he's having anymore. You know he's going to win. There really isn't someone right now who you believe is going to take the title off Cody. And unfortunately, Kevin Owens is someone I did not think was going to take the title off them. I was more interested, though, in how the story was going to move forward. Because I still think Kevin Owens is coming up on a heel turn. And I think he needs it. And I know he was going to lose. And I still think it's an absolute sin that Kevin Owens has gone 7 years. 7 years without a singles title. And like I said, I unfortunately did not think he was going to win this match. I did not. But I think the match was a lot better than I expected. Again, like I said, I love this match. Some of the crazy spots, the near falls. To me, you felt like you were watching 2 guys who really, really loved wrestling. 2 guys that were this match felt like you were watching like guys play wrestling in a backyard, and they were like pulling out all these different stunts, different maneuvers, crazy kickouts, crazy near falls. Kevin Owens was doing a lot of like high risk moves and whatnot in there that were absolutely crazy. Like I said, these are 2 guys that just love. I don't know where they're at. Oh, right there. That just love professional wrestling. And because of that, I think I was able to see that in this match and enjoy it a lot more. Like, sometimes the best of friends are going to beat the piss out of each other a lot more than those who aren't really good friends. And, again, of course, also the testing of, like, is Kevin Owens going to turn heel? Is he going to go to that dark side and, is he going to go to that dark side that he once was in? But what I like about the match, so last Friday on SmackDown, Kevin Owens had mentioned that Cody Rhodes hurt his knee while on an international tour. And Cody kept saying, I'm fine. But Kevin said, well, I'm not fine because it had been 8 years last Friday, I think it was, since he had won the Universal title. And everybody mentioned that that title reign was tainted. I mean, no offense, he wasn't booked the best during that title reign. And of course, there is truth behind the fact that he did in fact win the title because of help from Triple H. So, he wants this title win to have no ifs, ands, or buts. He wants it clean. So he was upset that Cody got hurt. But Cody said, I'm fine. Towards the end of the match, though, Cody goes to jump onto the top rope to do either like a, I don't know if he was going to do a moonsault or a Cody cutter or a or go for a disaster kick. I don't know what he was set up for. But he jumps onto the top rope and his knee buckles. And he's limping on it. He's hurt again. Kevin Owens was tempted to go back to that dark place of him attacking the bad leg, of him hitting the power bomb on the apron like he used to. He couldn't do it. He couldn't pull himself to do it yet. Is it coming? I still think so. And he even was like yelling at Cody like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, again, does he want to win a title? Yes. But he wants to win it right. But does he? Like, is that temptation just like digging in at him? But again, the match went on. And again, I think there may have been a referee bump in there. I can't remember. But like I said, I just felt they were pulling out some unreal moves. The chemistry was unreal. I feel like I was sitting a little more, like this is one of those few matches where I was sitting on my toes. They actually made me believe, maybe just a smidgen, that maybe they may give Kevin Owens the win here. Because I thought he was giving me more than I thought he was going to give in this match. But Cody does eventually win. Afterwards, though, Kevin's obviously upset. Cody tries to tell him, hey, you did good, man. You did good. And they hug it out. And we're thinking, oh, is he going to turn heel? Nope. He didn't turn heel yet. But, as they were hugging it out, Kevin did shove a cameraman. Does that still mean there is a good chance he's turning heel? I still think there is. I know Sol Sikoa is saying he's next in line. I don't think they're going to have that. That's going to be... Cody Rhodes is going to be main eventing Bad Blood. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, his home state. There's no way this time that he's not going to main event the show. And I don't think him and Solo are worthy of main event the show. Do you want to do it on SmackDown? Fine. Do the match on SmackDown. Don't do the match at Bad Blood. But despite Cody retaining, this is where Kevin Owens turns heel. And it could lead to maybe like, I don't know, like an Extreme Rules match. I think that's what I put on my list for Bad Blood predictions. Yeah, Extreme Rules match for the Undisputed Championship. I think that would be a great match to do. Add stipulation to it, make it more personal. They don't need to really, hold anyone back unless the bloodline interfere again, which there's really no need to, if I'm being honest. But that very well could happen. You never know. But we'll see. But that again was an outstanding. That to me was my match of the night. I thought that this match was awesome, and like I said, it was that good that I actually am calling it a match of the year candidate. So that was a great way to open up the show, I thought. The second match on the card was this women's tag title match. The Unholy Union versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Obviously, the results were exactly what I expected. Bianca and Jade did win the tag titles back. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they only gave the Unholy Union the women's tag titles because they wanted somebody to come out of Clash of the Castle, getting a win in their home country. They weren't going to give it to Drew because they had to continue the story with him and Punk. They couldn't give it to Piper Niven because, let's face it, I mean, as much as Piper's awesome, she's not on the level yet of being a believable women's champion right now. And she hasn't really been on TV since, if I'm being honest. So they had to give it to Solo mode. So they gave Bianca and Jade a little timeout and gave it to the Unholy Union. And again, I have nothing against the Unholy Union. I do think, again, I like both Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn. Or, I'm sorry, Alba Fire. Which was called Kaylee Ray again. I say it every single time I mention that. But, again, it's like, there's just no story to them on the main roster so far. They're just a team. They're just there. There's just nothing to them. There's no character to them. But, not gonna lie, they definitely had one of their better performances in this match. It wasn't like a so obvious looking match. But Bianca and Jade do come out the winners and they're tag champs once again. And this past week on Raw, they won another shot to face Bianca and Jade. I think next week, I'm not sure, but whatever. Again, these women's tag titles mean absolutely nothing anyways. So they're just literally something to put credibility on both Bianca and Jade for now. And lead to them eventually having a match at WrestleMania. Which again, Bianca needs to be the heel. Please. So we had that match. And then my second favorite match of the show was definitely the strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Another outstanding match. Again, most of the matches, again, were wrestling. There was some, though, that storytelling played a huge role in it. And that's, of course, exactly what this match did. Drew, of course, going right after Punk, attacking him before they even got the strap put on them. And the both of them just beat the living piss out of each other the entire match. Dragging back and forth. The whole drama with the four corners, which I wasn't sure how I would feel about them using the four corners rule again. But I actually thought they used it very well in this match. The rule for it gets a little confusing at times, I won't lie. But I thought it worked out great. I love the spot where Drew had Punk on his shoulders. And when Drew hit the turnbuckle, they turned Punk to change the light. And I think it took Drew a few seconds to realize it. But obviously, of course, the bracelet came into play again. It did not get put on Drew's wrist until later in the match, where he pulled it out of his pants and put it on. And obviously it set Punk off more. Eventually, Punk was able to get the win, hitting the turnbuckles. But of course, he hit a GTS, I think, for almost every single one of them. Before he hit a turnbuckle, he hit a GTS. I think there was also a spot in the match where Punk got busted open a little bit. But again, it was physical. It was brutal. It was more of a storytelling match. And I think the story was told very well. Punk, before he hit the last turnbuckle, does get a hold of the bracelet. And he then hits the turnbuckle. So it looked like he accomplished everything. He was ready to move on. And he was ready to go after Gunther for the world title. Not gonna lie, I think it's a little too soon for CM Punk to be fighting for a world title. Because reality is, he's been back. He's wrestled 3 matches on TV. And he's 1-2 so far. 1 and 2 does not really... I mean, I know, he's CM Punk, but in reality, we've been gone for 10 years. 1 and 2 is not going to get you a title match. But of course, I feel like we will get it eventually. Gunther and Punk does sound like a great match, don't get me wrong. It felt like a tad too soon, though. But obviously, again, since I may not do the live review, just to do a review for Raw this week, just to mention what happened. Again, I knew this feud wasn't over. I knew there was going to be a rubber match between the two of them. Drew attacked Punk on Raw, and this time, instead of stealing the bracelet, he took the bracelet and he broke it, shoved the beads in Punk's mouth, and claymored him. And he even beat Punk up while on the stretcher when they were taking him onto the ambulance as well. Yikes. It's got even more personal. And again, as people are saying, what Bad Blood should be, it should be a show full of grudge matches. And this is one of the biggest grudge matches of them all. So I ask you guys. So here's my dilemma. I know we're getting CM Punk and Drew McIntyre one more time, which I, myself, and a bunch of other people think it should be Hell in a Cell. I agree, but I have a feeling there's another match that could get Hell in a Cell. And it may make a little more sense for that match to be Hell in a Cell. And that's Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Well, first, before we talk about this, let's talk about the fourth match, which was the mixed tag match with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, the Terror Twins, taking on Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio. Another freaking awesome mixed tag match. I feel like the crowd, if they were hot, they were probably the hottest for this match. This match was so good. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley are both on fire right now. And Rhea Ripley had like a crazy energy in this match. Of course, she did get her hands on Dominik Mysterio. She didn't hit the Riptide though, but I'm pretty sure, again, that is coming. Again, I dare WWE do a singles intergender match with Rhea Ripley and Dominik Mysterio. I could believably see that being a pay-per-view match. Liv, of course, tried to run away at times. She tried to, help out too. Judgment Day got involved as well, but Rhea and Damian were able to fight them all off like badasses. Of course, they still kind of kept Finn and Damian somewhat separated, but that match is probably coming at Bad Blood between the two of them, which will be an awesome match. I still think back, and Damian even talked about it too in recent interviews, how the match he had with Finn Balor at In Your House 2020 was the match that really put him on the map, and I do agree. So that is going to be awesome as well. But in the end, though, Rhea and Damian get the win when Rhea hit the Riptide on Liv Morgan. So here's why I think that will be Hell in a Cell. It does I know the match wouldn't be the best Hell in a Cell match in the world, but it kind of calls for it because it keeps all interference out. So, because I thought about this, you can't do a Hell in a Cell and a steel cage in the same night. So that match could be Hell in a Cell. If that's the case, though, then I don't see them doing 2 Hell in a Cell matches in one night. So it could lead, and I know some people mention the idea of doing Punk and McIntyre in an ambulance match, which, don't get me wrong, would be good, but I kind of want Hell in a Cell more. That might be something where I might have to do a poll and see which match would you guys rather have, the Hell in a Cell match or the ambulance match with Punk and Drew. If they do Hell in a Cell with Punk and Drew, which I still think they should, and you do want to kind of do something with Rhea and Liv, why not do a lumberjack match? But make it, because that way nobody can escape, but make it a rule where no male superstars are allowed to get involved as any members of the Judgment Day or Damian Priest. They're not allowed to get involved, and they can't be lumberjacks. It has to be all women on the roster. Because that could either, one, lead to Rhea winning the title. I don't know yet if I'm ready yet for Liv to drop the title, though. If that's the case, I don't know who they would use, but it could be a thing where, they had the lumberjacks, but it's not made. Through one of the lumberjacks could be someone that helps Liv and kind of has maybe another female join Judgment Day or something. I don't know. Some kind of little turn, but again, without anyone else from Judgment Day getting involved. So I think you could do that. That might be interesting too. A lumberjack match. And then the Hell in a Cell match goes to Punk and Drew. If, though, the Hell in a Cell does go to Rhea and Liv, though, I can definitely see Punk and Drew being an ambulance match. But I still think that is more warrant of Hell in a Cell. That's what I think. Of course, You could always do first blood match between Punk and Drew. They could take away the fact that Punk bled at in the strap match, but we'll see. But another good match there as well. And then the main event, Gunther versus Randy Orton. So, as I said in the intro, I definitely think their King of the Ring match was a lot better than this. This was still good. It was a little long though, and it was a little slow at times. And I think the reason why I felt that is because the crowd, as much as I love the crowd, they really hijacked this match. Like the first 10 minutes, it felt like it was nothing but the crowd. And they even went as far as doing the wave, and then Randy freaking Orton. Randy Orton entertains me the most when he just doesn't care. Not even care, but when he breaks character. Like, he even did the wave with the crowd. And he was doing it so you actually saw him one time tell Gunther, you go ahead, you try it. But Gunther gave him this glare like, no. And I thought it was hilarious. But again, they eventually did start fighting. It was not really much of like a physical fest, though, like it was at King of the Ring. To me, a lot of people say this too, it felt a little more old school. Orton was definitely trying to take away Gunther's power game by really messing with the limbs on his right arm. Doing the chops and such, and just taking away like one of Gunther's strengths. Gunther, of course, as I've said before, what makes Gunther so good about his matches is sometimes he has to adapt. He has definitely done multiple finishers before on people, or he's done something different to put people away. And there was a time where it looked like Randy was about to beat him. But then, the moment Randy went for an RKO, I think it was, and Gunther dodged it, and Randy went on his back, it was all downhill from there. It was like a slow, painful death. It felt like. Because Gunther was doing stuff like elbows to the side of the head, the choke holds, but Randy was fighting out of them, breaking free. The ending, again, even though the match was definitely one of the weaker matches on the show, like, I say either this one or the women's tag was the weakest match on the show. This was still great. Okay, the ending kind of made me feel like I was watching Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels. Because Randy kept, like, breaking out of rest holds and the submission maneuvers. But then, of course, it's like Gunther would then, like, go to the back again. And it would knock Randy off his game again. And Gunther tried again again. And Randy would fight back. Like, it was definitely like a tale of, like, is he still going to fight this? And it took a heck of a lot, but Gunther did finally get Randy to pass out. And Gunther, in his home country, does retain the world title. Now, after the match, though, Gunther actually offered a handshake to Randy Orton. And they did shake hands. Which, I thought that was a little bit random, if I'm being honest. I'm not sure why they did that, because Gunther is still a heel. But, you know, it could have been the same them breaking character or something. Or Gunther accepting that, you know, he did in fact be... Because to me, there really wasn't never too much heat in this feud. It was just Gunther wanting to prove himself, Randy wanting to do the same thing. And that was basically the main story. So, I'm not going to diss completely on the fact that they shook hands. It was odd, yes, but it was like a moment where I could kind of forgive it, I feel like. Now, I know they already teased a match for Gunther, which is him and Sami, even though that might be just a wee bit too soon. Because, of course, obviously, Sami Zayn's one of the very few people that have beaten Gunther. I think, though, because, of course, of the card I'm predicting for Bad Blood, though, if I had it my way, I would take a breather from Gunther this next pay-per-view. Because he really doesn't have really like a blood feud right now. Save him and Sami for Crown Jewel. Especially if it's a main event match for Sami, and with how popular Sami is, especially with the international crowds, I would save that match for Crown Jewel. Now, Survivor Series, you may do like Punk and Gunther then, or Gunther and Rollins, although I don't know if Seth will be back for time for Bad Blood, but I don't think Seth's going to be taking on Bronson at Bad Blood. I think Bronson will be taking on Braun Strowman in a Last Man Standing match, which also could be freaking awesome. But we'll see. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a great show. Bash in Berlin. Again, I feel like I got a little bit more out of it than I thought we were going to get. I gave the show a B+. A B+. Again, wrestling was great. There was some storytelling in there that was great as well. Crowd was fun as always in overseas. I can't hate the show. I thought it was a great show. And to me, it was more than just a show that you watch once and that's it. Like I said, we had a match of the year candidate in Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. The women's tag titles was actually better than I thought it was. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre had an excellent storytelling strap match. The mixed tag was a lot of fun. And the main event, despite the fact that it was a little bit long, was still good too. And Gunther did pin a world champion clean. A former world champion, a legend, a Hall of Famer clean. So, I gave a B+. So, I'm going to check the live chat. And if you're watching this in the live chat now, or if you're watching this later, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, especially what match should get Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood? Punk and McIntyre or Rhea and Liv? And whichever one does not get Hell in a Cell, what match stipulation would you give it? Live chat, what do you guys got here? We got Tyler say AEW is still full of his ego with Jack Perry getting a world title match just to get at Punk. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. I am going to make a video on that. I don't know if I will make that tonight or sometime this week. That's definitely one of my topic videos. Boys, off the couch. Boys, off the couch. Sab Kingsley, off the couch. Good boys. But yeah, that's definitely a topic of discussion. It's a sin that AJ has not gotten a WWE title in 6 years. You could have given AJ another run. Yeah, I think it might be too late now, but you definitely could have. I still also think it was a missed opportunity while he was champ to not do a singles match with AJ and Roman. I still want to see them have another match. We haven't seen them have a match in 8 years one-on-one. And I think that, now that they're much more seasoned out and much more in a groove of their characters, they would have an even better matches than the series they did in 2016. The turn is coming with Kevin, yes. He thought the worst match of the show was the women's tag title match, and the best is Kevin and Cody, nice. Just call it the WWE title, yes. I don't get why they call it the Undisputed WWE title, just call it the WWE title. Get rid of the women's tag titles, doesn't look like they are, but I do agree with that. The Punk and Drew feud is going to be Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. Works for me. Guys, calm down. I hear that the planned Survivor Series world title match for Raw is going to be Gunther and Punk. Again, fine. It's going to be a good match, but might be a little too soon. But if it happens, Punk definitely though isn't winning. Randy Orton should have won his 16th world championship. It would have been his 15th. He's only a 14-time world champion. Do you think we get CM Punk versus Gunther? Probably at Survivor Series or at Rumble. We'll get it. I think they'll hold off for him and for Gunther and Sammy until Crown Jewel. Who do you think should beat Gunther for the world title? Whoa, that's a tough one. That's a really good question. Who would beat Gunther for the world title? Gunther's definitely holding that for a long time. I would definitely say Ilya, but Ilya's already beaten him once before. I mean, you could have him do it again, but nah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, maybe Ludwig eventually? I really don't know. A little further down, Tyler said Sheamus. I mean, I wouldn't be against that since Gunther's like, what, 3-0 or 4-0 against him? That could work maybe, but I feel like it would have meant more if he would have beaten him for the IC title, because Sheamus still has not yet won that Intercontinental title. But it could happen, you never know. I don't know, though. I haven't really thought of who I would want to see Gunther be dethroned by. Did Randy go back to SmackDown or did he stay on Raw? He went back to SmackDown. Again, I understood why they did this. There was a legitimate story behind it. But he's back on SmackDown. Because Cody Rhodes has never been able to beat Randy Orton in professional wrestling. He was Dusty's last ever opponent. If Randy and Cody do have a feud, I do think Randy will beat him once. And have just a brief title reign like he did in 2020. I think that will happen if that happens. In the last couple times that Randy and Cody did fight back in the day, Cody never was able to beat Randy, and they could, of course, use that as the storyline. What do you think about Gunther versus Seth Rollins? That match, I think, will happen. Probably won't be at WrestleMania because we're getting Punk and Rollins. But if you want, I'd say maybe at Rumble or Chamber, we could get Rollins and Gunther. But that needs to happen while Gunther's world champion. AEW's falling apart. I think so too, yes. Orton needs to retire. He has some love in the tank. I think he'll be okay. Dogfight. Yep, dogfight in the background. And he thinks that Sheamus should beat Gunther for the world title. Again, I'm not against that since Sheamus has fought Gunther 3 times and he's lost to him. But like I said, I think it would have been a little more special if it was for the IC title, since Sheamus hasn't won that yet. But yeah, Wrestling News 365 and Tyler, thank you guys, of course, as always, for leaving your thoughts in the live chat, participating. I'm going to take a quick breather, then I'm going to record maybe 1 or 2 more videos tonight just to try to get caught up and such. And then I'll continue trying to get caught up during the week. Like I said, depending on how much I get done over the next couple days. Again, I'm most likely going to take a break from Raw and SmackDown reviews again this week just to get caught up. And again, like I said, I have just personal projects going on with getting ready for my son coming in November. So, like I said, I just want to be able to do some other things. So that's why I may put the Raw and SmackDown reviews on the back burner this week. But if I get time, I'll still do them. And again, I hope to also get a Bad Blood card done as well. Again, topic videos, again, definitely something on Jack Perry's booking. And I also want to do a video talking about Odyssey Jones. And him being gone from WWE now for what it sounds like. Get back into Spear of Destiny, Ultimate Challenge. I'm just about ready to start my new custom baseball players. Get that out there as well. And a couple more commercials, too, I wanted to do from Wolfenstein Let's Play. So, like I said, I want to try to get some stuff back on track. And I do have one more park left in Roller Coaster Tycoon, so maybe I'll try to start working on that, too. But we'll see. But that's my review. Again, I'm going to record my No Mercy review tonight as well. It's not going to be that long. I don't really have a heck of a lot to say, but I watched it. I'll do a quick review on it. What are your guys' thoughts, though? And, of course, what stipulations should we give to this dog fight in the background? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure also, as always, guys! Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video, subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at The Club with the Man 93. You may also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at The Club with the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch y'all later. This match back here is going to a draw. And do not forget also, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!